Hey Greg, let's talk bourbon and some rye. Now I know it's April, right? It's a little late to be coming out with a video entitled My Biggest Disappointments in 2024. I get that. In the beginning of the year, I was busy doing a bunch of other things, had a lot of stuff going on. I was doing some videos on big rye blind that I had going on and multiple blinds. But and part of those blinds shed some light on some of these bottles, because a number of these bottles are rye that just didn't live up, right? And while these bottles were all purchased in 2024, some of them I didn't necessarily decide were a disappointment until 2025. That's part of this. But these two bottles here that I want to start talking about are two bottles that I have decided I just want to drink them up, get them off my shelf, and not replace them. But I figured, before I do that, because this one I'm getting there, I could probably be done with this one in a week or two. And before I do that, I figured I should probably do a video first on this. So I know it's April, but here we go. These, like I said, these were all purchased in 2024. So the first up I have here, James E. Pepper. This is a foolproof bottle, and it's pretty good. It really is. However, I have to say, it is finished in last or next to last in every blind that I've put it in. And I was excited about buying this. I bought it because I saw a bunch of YouTube videos. I know. A bunch of YouTube videos of people saying, oh, hey, look, this new bottle's out. This is James E. Pepper's first bottle of their own juice, right? Before this, apparently they were bottling, they were sourcing their juice. This is the first bottle of their own juice. You got to run out and get this. It's really good, right? That's what people were saying. It's got this beautiful decanter bottle, and it is a beautiful bottle. But, yeah, here's the problem. So on the nose, it's sweet, it's fruity. It's a nice, if you like sweet bourbons, it's a nice sweet bourbon. Where the problem comes in is in the back of the palate. So yes, on the palate it is sweet, and in the palate it is fruity. But in the back of the palate, along with a little bit of oak spice, which isn't too heavy, seems pretty nice. But there's a metallic note in there on the back of the palate. And I don't know. That it is the reason why I keep putting this thing out first. I hit that metallic note, and it just doesn't seem to belong, right? And so the other bottles, the other glasses in front of me don't have this metallic note. I end up putting this glass with a metallic note out first. It's not bad, though. I can sit and drink this, and, I can drink this all day if I want to, and, I just kind of ignore that metallic note, and it's fine. And like I said, this bottle, a couple weeks ago, I decided I was going to finish up this bottle, and the bottle was up to about here at the time. So I've made some good headway, and I'm another week or two, and that bottle will be gone. All right. Another bottle that I was disappointed in 2024. This was while I was down in, where was I? I was down in Memphis when I bought this bottle. Saw this at a liquor store down there. Bought a few bottles while I was down in Memphis. This is Hard Truth caramel malt. It supposedly is a 2022 Ascot Awards double platinum winner. I don't know what they're doing here. There's also a sister bottle of this, the chocolate malt. Had a chance to pick up the chocolate malt. I decided to just try the caramel malt. I'm glad I decided on that because I don't really like the caramel malt all that much. I have been trying to drink this one up for a while. I still have about half a bottle. Because whereas the James E. Pepper, I can at least sit down and drink it all night, and I can I can have 3, 4 glasses of it, and that's no problem. I actually have a hard time doing that here with this caramel malt. Now, this caramel malt has a nice, really nice nose. It does. It's caramely, chocolatey, like a cocoa powder kind of smell. And that's exactly what you get on the palate, right? Caramely cocoa powder. And then in with a little bit of oak at the end, it turns bitter. It's like after the back of the palate. It's like, so you get this caramel and cocoa powder in the front, and at the back of the palate you get like a little oaky flavor, which is fine, but then it just leaves this bitterness in your mouth. And so this is not crushable, in my opinion. I only drink like a glass of this at a time because it's just too bitter. I don't know what to say about it. Now, I will say this, that Trenton over there at SLB Drinks, he agrees with me, unfortunately. I have heard him say once or twice in some of their videos that he doesn't care for, while they love Hard Truth, he doesn't care for their caramel malt and the chocolate malt. And, well, I don't either. I'm working on drinking that one up and clearing that off my shelf. All right. Now, the other bottles that I've got sitting here are ones that I'm disappointed in for various different reasons. Not as bad as these two, but I will say that this next one, so Holiday Soft Red Wheat, this is the Rickhouse Proof. This is another bottle. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned that, but this bottle here also finishes pretty much dead last or second to last in every blind I've put it in. Right? Something that these two have in common. And unfortunately, this is a third one that's kind of in the same realm here. Although I'm a little less disappointed with it than these two. But I have put this bottle of the soft red wheat in a number of wheated bourbon blinds. And now maybe I just have my other wheated bourbons around here are just really good. I don't know. But I got to tell you that this one tends to finish last or second to last in every blind I put it in. And why is that? Well, again, it's got a lovely nose. I will say that recalling my blinds, this nose is a little bit lighter than some of the others, which of course is a big detriment to it when it's, up against others in a blind. It starts out with a nice, sweet, soft, palate, right? Just like a wheat should, right? But then, I'm already getting it, right? Then it hits you in the back of the palate. In the back of the palate, you get a little bit of that baking spice, oakiness, but then you get a little bit of bitterness. Now, it's not as bitter as this one. This one can get really bitter, which is why I'm having a hard time drinking it up. This one I'm not trying to drink up. Like I said, I'm not as disappointed in this bottle. But there is, there it is. It's also a little acidic. So it has this acidic and bitter note at the back of the palate that, when you're sampling 6 glasses, that acidic bitter note jumps out at you and you put it out, right? So, I don't know. I've just always been kind of disappointed. The other thing I'm disappointed about this bottle is, all right, so this is a $75 bottle, right? Why does it have a screw top? Why is it not a cork? What's up with that? I don't get it. What's up with that? Anyway, there are bottles that are like $20 that have corks. All right, next one. Now here is where I disagree with Trenton from SLB Drinks, right? Trenton loves this bottle. He loves a lot of New Riff's Rise. And he talked very highly of this bottle. And I was in the store one day and I recalled that video and I decided, you know what, I'm going to pick up this bottle. It was like 1 or 2 or 3 bottles I bought that day. And, you know, I thought, why not? Let's pick this up. I heard good things about it. And, you know, it's not the most expensive bottle. It's only $56. And to be honest with you, if you drink it by itself, it's kind of nice. It's kind of, you know, I've drank it down to about here. I don't know if you can see that through this, the darkness on this, but it's down to about here. Okay, I will tell you right now that this is a lot better than these 3, right? Like we just jumped up a notch, right? So this is actually pretty good. It's pretty good by itself. If you're just sitting down around, you know, maybe, you know, in front of the TV, having, you know, a few pours, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. But my issue is that the nose is light, very light. It has a very light nose, which, as I said before, when you're doing a blind, it's a big detriment, right? But the other thing about it is there's only 2 notes. It's got honey, it's got cloves. That's it. There's nothing else there. But then, you know, the mash bill is 100% malted rye. What do you expect when your mash bill is 100% of something, right? So, 100% malted rye. I don't know. It's, like I said, it's got a very light nose, but it's tasty. It's enjoyable as long as this is all you're drinking. Put it up against something else and it will fade away. So, anyways, I just recall, you know, Trenton over there at SLB Drinks just, you know, raving about this bottle. His dad, I think so. Yeah, it's also pretty good. He's saying it's pretty good. I don't know, man. It's not that good. Now, granted, it's only $56, so I'm not too disappointed. I do think it's worth something around $50, right? So I'm not disappointed in that. You know, this one was $80, and I think it's only worth $30, right? This one I'm disappointed about on a pricing standpoint. This one was $60, and I think it's probably only worth $40, right? And this one cost $75. Yeah, maybe it's worth $50, right? So these 3 here I'm rather quite disappointed in, and I do have an issue with the pricing. I don't have an issue with the pricing of this one. My only issue with this one is that it's got a light nose and it only has 2 notes. I don't think it was a big deal. I think SLB Drinks should think twice about recommending that one. Anyway, so then I ended up having an opportunity to pick up this bottle for 50% off. They were telling me that the going rate on this was $80. I was able to pick it up for $39.99. I think I have seen it online in the 70s, but nonetheless, this is Heaven's Door Refuge, and what this is it's also a mash bill of 100% malted rye, but they then finished it in sherry casks. So, okay, and this one happens to be sourced as oops, I thought I was going to tip over there for a second. Probably just a trick of my glasses. I caught it with the edge of my glasses and it made it look like it was moving more than it was. Sorry about that. Freaking me out there. Hate glasses. Anyway. So Heaven's Door sources all of their liquid, right? And all their juice. And they source this one from Canada somewhere. That's all it says is it's from Canada. 100% malted rye, and then they finish it in sherry. Now, so it tastes like this, except it's got sherry to it. It does, right? So it's got that honey note. It's got the cloves. But then at least it's got some sherry to it. So, okay, I do like a really good sherry finish. And I think they did a good job with the sherry finish. Unfortunately, I've had some sherry finishes that were not done well. But this one, they actually did a pretty decent job on the sherry. I think that's kind of saves this, because otherwise the 100% malted rye, mash bill, as I discussed here, just really isn't cutting it for me. And now I paid $40 for it, and to me, yeah, $40, I'm happy with it. I'm not disappointed from a pricing standpoint, but now if I had paid any for it, I don't know. Because personally, I think it's probably worth about 60. It's not bad though. Like I said, these three, I've got issues with the flavor. These, not as much, right? So these two, I guess my bottom line with these two is that I guess I'm just not a fan of 100% malted rye. A little disappointed. Again, this one also has a weak nose. Yeah, very weak nose. You can pick up the sherry in it though. And it just has, well, in this case it only has 2 notes. This one has 3 notes because it's got the sherry. So the lack of complexity. All right, now my last 2 bottles, I will say, are really good pours. They both are, especially if you're just drinking that bottle by itself. But I have other reasons why I am kind of disappointed in them. My first one, Sagamore 9. Now, I gotta tell you, Sagamore 9, it has a lovely, lovely nose. So much stronger than these two, and really nice. And it has at least 5 notes to it, right? So there's a lot going on, a fair amount going on in this glass. And this did pretty well in some blinds I put it in. It didn't do as well as the Sagamore Double Oak. And this is where my problem comes in. So this bottle's more expensive than Sagamore Cast Strength, Sagamore Double Oak. It's a 9-year. When this came out, there were a lot of YouTubers talking about, oh, hey, how great this Sagamore 9-year is. And what this is when Sagamore first got started, they sourced their product from MGP. And then they, of course, then started making their own product. And it took a few years, of course, before their own product was ready to go. So this Sagamore 9 is, from what I can tell, this is an MGP product. And whereas their cast strength and their double oak is their own product, their own juice. So I think this comes into play here, and as to why those bottles, even though they're not 9 years old, why they are better than this one. This one being MGP, while I like MGP, it just isn't as good. And it does have a lot of notes. It is very tasty. It does have a decently strong nose, decently strong palate. I just think that for, and I think this was around $80. I just think, whereas like the other Sagamores are about $60, I just expected more out of this bottle, right? It's a 9-year. There were a lot of YouTubers making a big deal about this. I got a chance where I found the last one on a shelf of a place here in the Milwaukee area. And, I was all excited. Oh, I managed to pick up a Sagamore 9-year, especially without having to travel out of state for it. And it's good. I'm not saying it's not. It's a lot better than any of these, right? It's just not as good as it was hyped up to be. Plain and simple. So it's on my list. Now, I will say that Sagamore 9 did beat in a blind my next one. Even though I do like this one too. My last one here is a Midwinter's Night's Dram. This one here in particular happens to be Act 12, Scene 4. I picked this one up right in the beginning of December. No, beginning of November. Yes, it was in November that I picked up this bottle. Picked it up here in Wisconsin, and if I sit and drink this bottle by itself, I really do enjoy it. It's got some nice flavor to it. It's got a nice nose. It comes across more sophisticated than the Sagamore 9. Obviously, these are both ryes, right? But it also has a lighter nose than the Sagamore 9. It has a lighter nose, and the palate's also, not as strong. So if you're drinking it by itself, it's kind of nice. It's got more of a sophisticated palate to it. It's you can tell it was put together well. Okay, I'm not denying it that, but it finished kind of middle of the pack on an average rye blind. Didn't even make it to the finals. It's good. I enjoy it. That's why I'm into the bottle a little ways here. I enjoy it by itself, but in a blind, it just doesn't hold up. And the reason why it's in this list is because it costs $150. Really, that's the only reason it's here. It's in this list because it costs $150. If I had paid $100 for it, I'd be happy. 80, I think 80 might be really more realistically where it should be. So 80 to 100, I'll say, is what this thing is really worth. But they charge $150 for it. And it's a Midwinter's Night's Dram, right? It's one of the bottles that everybody, oh yeah, that's a famous bottle. I got to get that one, right? Yeah, I mean, it's good. I enjoy it, but it's just not worth $150. I have other $150 bottles, and they're way better than this, right? But it's good. I don't know. So, anyways, there it is. These here are the bottles that I bought in 2024 that I'm just not that excited about. And in some cases, I'm really disappointed in them. In that there's, off-putting notes in these three that just tank them in any kind of a blind. In fact, in the case of this one, I even have a hard time drinking more than one glass at a time because the bitterness can be so strong. So there it is. I know it's late. I hope you enjoyed it. My disappointed list for 2024. Peace out.